It's very subtle and
You nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
nailed
mean,
it.
he's look, the guy's a Pope killer, okay?
Bowen Yang called JD Vance a Pope killer. And not just in passing. He lobbed it like a glitter bomb mid-sip on live TV. 10 seconds flat, and the studio audience gasped like someone had slapped a kitten. That line? Instant classic. Not since Binders Full of Women has a political roast landed so hard with so little effort. Pope killer isn't just shady. It's liturgical shade. It's giving Vatican drama meets drag brunch energy. Who else but Bowen could thread that needle? He took one of the most joyless senators alive, fused him with centuries of Catholic iconography, and gave us something worthy of both confession and a Twitter trending topic. And what makes it hit harder? The deadpan. No raised eyebrows. No punchline tacked on. Just Pope killer. Like he was stating Vance's job title. Like it belonged on LinkedIn right under anti-woke warrior and apologist for billionaires. And let's be real, JD Vance probably doesn't even know he got roasted that elegantly. Somewhere, a comms intern had to Google, "Is Bowen Yang allowed to say that?" While Vance blinked in confusion. But the moment stuck because it didn't just mock him, it cast him as something bizarre, almost mythic. The kind of villain you find in stained glass windows if you squint. And Bowen, he just sipped his coffee like he hadn't just rewritten Catholic satire in under 10 seconds. And you won't believe what Vance said to the Pope in his final moments on Earth.
But it's good to see you in better health.
That's
Just when the moment begged for diplomacy, JD Vance showed up with the energy of a well-meaning uncle and blurted, "It's good to see you in better health." The Pope nodded with the grace of a man who's endured centuries of awkward statesmen, but the damage was done. Vance's comment, meant to be warm, landed like a lead balloon in a cathedral. The vibe? Less respectful senator, more guy who reminds you looked half dead last week. That exact flavor of foot-and-mouth awkwardness is what Bowen Yang had to recreate. Because playing JD Vance isn't about matching his haircut, it's about embodying the kind of man who turns a greeting into an international incident. And when The Daily Show asked Bowen how it felt to play that character, his face said it all.
I've got my almond eye. I like this, and everyone in America is gonna be like, this Asian guy is playing that guy. Like, I was like, I really gotta nail this down, and I'm just telling you guys.
When The Daily Show asked Bowen what it felt like to become JD Vance, he didn't even need words. His face did the heavy lifting. A polite laugh, a flicker of panic, and then the softest diplomatic dodge. There are better people for it. Translation? Please don't ever make me do that again. It was the kind of moment where you could see the trauma in real time, like someone remembering a bad date, only with more khakis and political soul-selling. Bowen didn't roast Vance outright. He didn't have to. That one sentence said it all. Becoming JD meant crawling into the mind of a man who once called Trump a threat to democracy and now treats him like a spiritual guru. And for someone as expressive and self-aware as Bowen, that had to feel like a method acting on hard mode. No glitter, no drag, just cold sincerity and Midwestern chaos wrapped in a political costume. And if that moment wasn't awkward enough, just wait, because the panel's reaction made it even worse.
Is it true you didn't want to play JD Vance on the show?
I just thought there would be better people for it, but Lauren, there I am. It worked.
Yeah.
When asked if he even wanted to play JD Vance, Bowen gave the most honest answer possible without actually screaming for help. "There are better people for it," he muttered, smiling through the kind of panic usually reserved for job interviews and dental surgeries. And yet there he was, on live TV, accepting the compliment and spiraling in real time. It was imposter syndrome in high definition. The voice says, "Thank you," but the eyes say, "I shouldn't be here." This wasn't humility, it was trauma with good lighting. Bowen looked like a man who just survived a character exorcism. Because playing JD Vance isn't just putting on a suit, it's crawling into a persona that screams ambition and emptiness in equal parts. And if you think that performance was wild, just wait until you see what happens when Bowen switches targets. And glitter.
George Santos, you did him on Update and in the cold open.
And in the cold open.
So good you did him twice. Now, Did you have in the back of your head,
After surviving the emotional minefield of playing JD Vance, Bowen Yang took on a new political labyrinth, George Santos. During his interview with Seth Meyers, Bowen broke down just how chaotic that role really was. It wasn't just about putting on glasses and lying with confidence, it was about decoding a character that already felt like a walking parody. He had to study Santos's voice, his posture, and his headline-grabbing nonsense just to make the satire land. But what made it work wasn't mimicry, it was precision. Bowen didn't just impersonate Santos, he dissected him. The performance hit because it wasn't just flamboyant, it was deliberate. While JD was all tight suits and hollow stares, Santos was glitter-drenched absurdity wrapped in scandal. And Bowen met that energy head-on, turning chaos into something surgical. Because when your subject is already a meme, your job isn't to exaggerate, it's to clarify the madness. And once the glitter settled, JD Vance was still waiting, soulless, buttoned up, and ready for round two. And round two came fast, back on SNL's stage with JD Vance awkwardly inserted into the vice presidential debate parody.
He's making such an interesting choice with the election, like stack the Democrat side and make them sort of like, you know, the fun family, and then kind of make like JD and Trump kind of the weird crooks and weirdos on the other side.
Bowen Yang isn't just here to clown around. His whole presence is a strategy. Camp, with a scalpel, he wields glitter like a weapon, slicing through the theater of Republican politics with mascara and a deadpan. While JD Vance postures like some backwoods philosopher in a clearance rack suit, Bowen turns him into exactly what he is, one of the weird crooks and weirdos on the wrong side of the culture war. Because this isn't just comedy, it's editorial. Bowen steps into that SNL spotlight and reshapes how we see guys like JD Vance. Not as thought leaders or rising stars, but as punchlines dressed up in patriotism. And when the sketch ends and the rhinestones fade, the caricature sticks. That's the power of camp with purpose.
And by the way, you were very funny as Tim Walz on Saturday Night Live, which had to be, you know, it's, I think, had you done anything like that where you'd been imitating someone?
You know, I've done a fair amount of acting.
Even when Bowen Yang isn't physically on stage, his comedic DNA is stitched into every moment. In SNL's latest vice presidential debate sketch, JD Vance and Tim Walz derail the tension with a bizarre spark of chemistry. Walz, with the confidence of a lost intern, blurts out, "Friends," and Vance doesn't flinch. It's like they're co-starring in a romantic comedy set in purgatory. Then comes Maya Rudolph's Kamala Harris, staring into the camera like a witness to war crimes. "Why?" she demands, twice. The audience laughs, but it's the nervous kind. Because this isn't just slapstick, it's truth dressed up in rhinestones and broadcast at 11:30 p.m. The real joke? JD Vance looks more at ease joking with Walz than he ever has defending policy. He's not playing a statesman, he's playing himself. And that's the punchline. It's exactly the kind of surreal, deadpan spectacle that Bowen Yang helped define. Whether he's in front of the camera or not, the energy he brings to SNL reframes conservative figures like Vance as fragile theater kids in political cosplay. But the moment didn't stay inside Studio 8H. What happened next proved just how thin-skinned political power can get when the glitter starts to sting.
It is an honor to be here with all of you at Madison Square Garden.
JD Vance walks on stage with the energy of an intern who just got his first power tie. Next to him, Trump beams like a proud dad, introducing his son at the family barbecue, even though everyone knows he's really just introducing himself again. Vance nods, smiles, and delivers lines that feel rehearsed to death, while the crowd claps with the polite rhythm of people waiting for the headliner. It's like watching a supporting actor try to steal a scene, with zero charisma and a teleprompter soul. In the background, the Trump 2024 signs scream the obvious. This isn't Vance's show. He's just happy to be cast as the loyal squire, hoping the spotlight might accidentally hit him for once. Spoiler, it won't.
Like a garbage person.
And then, like someone booted up a glitchy simulation, Elon Musk enters the frame with all the grace of a tech bro who just discovered chaos pays better than code. In 10 seconds flat, he praises mass firings in the government like he's reviewing a new Tesla feature. "We love los despidos en masa," he grins like downsizing air traffic control is a quirky little HR experiment. No names, no roles, just bodies to clear. It's startup culture meets authoritarian cosplay. Meanwhile, the audience laughs nervously, unsure if this is satire or a product launch. JD Vance off to the side claps like someone trying to earn Wi-Fi privileges. And that's the joke. Musk plays the disruptor, but Vance? He's the eager intern applauding the demolition. Bowen Yang wouldn't have to exaggerate a thing. This is already the sketch. Rich guys breaking institutions with punchlines and no consequences. And while Elon glitches through governance like it's beta software, Vance stands there nodding like he's just happy to be included. Which brings us to someone who's been clocking this bootlicking energy from day one. Pete Buttigieg? And trust, he's not clapping.
Donald Trump and JD Vance cannot afford for this campaign to be about things like how Donald Trump eliminated the right to choose and continues to leave the door open to signing a national abortion ban.
Pete Buttigieg didn't need theatrics. No raised voice. No dramatic pause. Just 10 seconds of quiet, lethal clarity. Donald Trump and JD Vance cannot afford for this campaign to be about things like how Trump eliminated the right to choose. And with that one line, he surgically exposed the entire strategy behind their chaos. Not with flair, but with facts. It was the kind of takedown you miss if you're only watching for fireworks. But for anyone listening, it was devastating. Pete didn't just accuse them of being wrong, he accused them of hiding. Hiding from the fact that Trump tanked reproductive rights. Hiding from the economic recession that hit American factories under his watch. Hiding from the gaping hole where their healthcare plan was supposed to be. JD Vance, once billed as the thoughtful conservative, is now just another footnote in Trump's long trail of loyal enablers. Buttigieg laid it out plainly. If the conversation stays focused on abortion bans, healthcare failures, or the actual Republican agenda, Trump and Vance are finished. So instead, they toss out conspiracy bait, rumors about immigrants, bizarre moral panics, wild nonsense about people eating cats, and hope the headlines bite. And when the chaos hits, they pretend their hands are clean. What Pete delivered wasn't comedy. It was a case file. A cold, prosecutorial readout of how political cowardice gets dressed up as strategy. And it worked because he didn't flinch. Because he knows JD Vance types all too well. Ambitious men who reinvent themselves depending on the wind, who will smile on camera while democracy quietly burns behind them. But satire wasn't the only scalpel aimed at Vance. Pete Buttigieg brought the other blade, cold, precise, and devastating. And that's exactly why Bowen Yang's satire cuts so deep. While Pete calmly points to the rot behind the curtain, Bowen storms the stage in full drag, kicks the curtain down, and turns it into a sequin cape. So while JD Vance grins on stage beside Trump, nodding like a mascot who just got promoted, Buttigieg makes sure the audience never forgets what's being ignored. And if you thought that clinical dismantling was brutal, just wait. Because Ron Howard took one look at this circus and said something that made the glitter fall flat.